Who's this? It's Tory MP for Bassetlaw, Brendan Clarke Smith. Well, who's he then? Well, he's just another Tory lowlife who, during the Partygate scandal, got his mug on TV for swimming against the tide on Is Johnson a lying vote. Look at him here, defending Johnson and bringing Boris into a moment of sympathy when originally attempting to console a grieving parent.
Well, first of all, I'm very sorry to hear about Fred, and you have my sympathy. And as a parent, I can imagine it must be the absolute worst thing in the world. I was bereaved during COVID as well.
Exacerbated by the fact that the Prime Minister was lying to him.
But as was, of course, Boris Johnson. He spent time in ICU himself, of course, so I'm sure he completely understands. But again, exactly what this is about today, this is about Parliament in particular. And, we're not re-examining COVID as a whole. Lots of tragedies happened during COVID all around the world. It's a terrible thing, of course, and we tried our best with that.
Do you want to say anything about the fact that the committee, the report, which Boris Johnson has called a lie, you have called the report spiteful, vindictive, and the committee a kangaroo court? I mean, why are you indulging in what the committee calls a campaign of abuse and intimidation?
Well, I'd say they've overreached as well there.
Things don't really get much better, because here he's telling people who can't afford to buy food to basically eat shitter food because the Tories have totally up the economy.
I mean, say the price has shot up at that and people say, oh, this tin has gone up by 50% or whatever, buy the Tesco value one.
As if to compound matters, here he is with fellow moron Lee Anderson being fed beans.
Yeah, if Jack Monroe or Martin Lewis gives this advice, they're seen as saints for it, but it's evil Conservative politicians, Lee, baked bean brenners have been called now.
I've got good news for you, Brandon. We're going to do the baked bean test today. We've got some top brand baked beans, some supermarket brand, and another cheaper brand.
OK.
Here comes a train. What do you think of that one?
Well, they're cold. I'm not coming back to this pub for food.
It's all such a laugh, isn't it? Except it isn't, and perhaps the fact you've been acting like a right is the reason the crowdfunding page set up to raise £5,000 for your re-election was an utter washout. Originally stalling at just over £100, people were donating just so that they could leave comments like these. Absolutely ashamed that this rancid grifter human being ever got voted in my electorate. Not by me, I hasten to add. The sooner Bassetlaw comes to its senses, the better. Brendan, honey, you and your asinine campaign manager are struggling to keep up with cleaning up the comments. Good suggestion of his, the fundraiser. He's toast after the election, but then so are you. £118 out of 5,000. See how much you're loved? I'd be embarrassed for you if you weren't such a complete and utter ocean-going Well, Brendan, 2% already. Keep going, popular boy. Not on this quid, though, as I'm going to take it back, you nasty, rude, fecal waste pile. Pathetic pile of poo. Mock mental health? Get a pile on. I despise you. You've brought the office of MP into disrepute and deserve everything you're getting. So, the big question is, did he reach the target? Well, yes and no. It seems the original desired sum of £5,000 was lowered to £500, which only took 42 days to reach. Click here for Lee Anderson wanting to send migrants back the same day.